Hi everybody. Today I'm going to be trying to make my first, I've got a Smithfield all natural pork shoulder butt roast that's boneless. So I'm going to be trying to make that today using the Rotisserie feature on my Power Air Fryer Pro oven. I have washed and patted dry my meat. I've also taken the time to tie up the loose ends of netting so that it'll all stay closely together. The package that you just saw me take out has been thoroughly washed with warm soapy water. Now I'm going to wash my hands once again just to be doubly sure that they are squeaky clean. My surfaces, my utensils, everything is squeaky clean, but because I did touch that roast package, even though I thoroughly washed it in soap and water before I start, I want to wash my hands. So I will be right back. I'm back. My hands are sparkling clean. This is my first attempt to do a pork roast in my using my rotisserie feature in my air fryer oven. So I think what I'm going to do is I've washed this really well. I've tied up the ends so that they won't be hanging down over the meat. And I want to be using some liquid smoke today, hickory flavor. I love the flavor that hickory gives to the meat. I'm not allowed to barbecue where I live, so this is my attempt at barbecuing indoors. Okay, so I'm just going to give this roast a light spritz of olive oil and rub it all around. And the only reason I'm doing this is just so that I'm going to put a couple drops of this liquid smoke into my hand, and then I'm going to rub that around the outside of the meat. I'm also going to be using an injector, and I'm going to be putting some of this liquid smoke into some butter and injecting it down into the meat. Okay. Just want to make sure I have good smoke flavor on the outside. Okay, now I'm going to wash my hands, and I will be back to put my dry rub on. Now, what you will need to do this roast the way that I'm doing it, you'll need a few slices of bacon. You will need, I have a half a cup of butter here, and my injector. I'm going to melt this butter and put some of this liquid smoke into the butter so that I can inject it into the roast. Right now, I'm going to be doing a dry rub. I have onion powder, celery seed, seasonal, garlic powder, and I'm going to be using some Sazon for the first time today. I've heard great reviews about it, so I'm going to put some on my pork roast. Now, this is the first time I've ever done a pork roast on my rotisserie in my air fryer oven, so I'm learning. So this is my step-by-step tutorial, and I'm going to wrap it in this bacon so that the outside of the pork roast doesn't get dry. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come on in here with some seasonings. I want to make sure that I season every side of the roast. Okay, I've got some garlic powder there. Coming in with some seasoning powder. There we go. I buy my seasonings organic in bulk, and so I just have my own little spice jars that I use. But I get much higher quality spices that way at a reasonable price. Okay, and I'm going to come in with some celery seed. Celery seed just imparts the nicest flavor to everything. And I'm only using a little bit of each thing because I am going to come back in with the Sazon seasoning. And I'm pretty sure it's kind of a seasonal. So now I'm coming in with a little bit of onion powder. Oh, that was a whole lot of onion powder. Can't rub that around here. And most of that will, a lot of this will drip off anyways while it's rotisserie. And I think that is going to be plenty. And I have to put a cracker or something into that onion powder so that it doesn't clump up so much. Okay, now I'm going to give it a light sprinkling. Oh, isn't that pretty? With the Sazon. It smells something. I'm not exactly sure what that smell is, but it's something in the Sazon. Sazon? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But it's definitely something in the Sazon, and it is a familiar smell. I'm not sure what it is, but it is very familiar. Okay. Now, I always want to grab that with my second hand, because this is just real cooking in my kitchen, and I'm used to cooking with both hands. Okay. Get those butt ends down. Get a little seasoning on those. Okay. Now, I think that is dry rubbed very nicely. I'm going to wash my hands, and I'll be right back to put it on the spit and wrap it in bacon. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this pork roast on this spit. Okay, now keep in mind, this is my first time too doing this, so I'm learning along with y'all. Okay, I'm going to need a plate. Okay, I am going to transfer this to a plate because the sides are in my way. Okay. Looks pretty good. Now, come around over here and clean this area off. So that I can get this on. Turn it around so that you can see. Here's the hole for the screw. Whoops. This part right here can be just a little bit tricky. But I wanted to show you so that we can all learn together. Okay? Alright. Feels a little bit heavy on the one side. Now I'm gonna loosen this one. Now that I've got the one on the other side secured, I'm gonna loosen up this one and see if I can't take this hook out. Get that meat a little bit more centered. Whoa. It's tricky and slippery. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now I got it. Oh, I had it there for a second. Alrighty. Okay. Alright. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my screw back in till I feel it drop into that hole. And it takes 2 hands. I don't know of any way that I could get this on this spit without using 2 hands. Okay. I think that looks good. Alright. Now the next step is I'm going to inject it with the butter and the liquid smoke. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, and I'll be back to inject it, wrap it in bacon, and get this bad boy up on the rotisserie cooking. Be right back. Now I want to inject this pork roast. I'm using the butter just as an agent to get the liquid smoke into the interior part of this roast. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few drops of liquid smoke in here. Give it a little whisk. Okay, so in here is some real butter, about a half a cube, be about a 1/4 cup. I think I said a half a cup earlier, but it was only half a cube, which would be about a 1/4 of a cup. Okay, I've got that all nicely mixed together. I'm going to take my injector, slide it into the mixture, and pull some of that up inside of here. Okay. Try that a second time with turning it around. The end of the needle caught a little bit of air. Okay, that's about all I'm going to be able to do at one time. So, let's see. I'm going to come in down here, inject a little, come in here in the middle, inject a little more. Oh, stay in there now. Come around here, come straight through the center here, then pull back, inject a little in there, some down here, inject a little in there, and back up on top here, go down in there, inject a little in there, and you can actually see the meat kind of puff up as the liquid smoke and butter goes into the meat. Now I'm going to come in over here again. I really had wanted to make this recipe with a pork loin roast, but I couldn't find one in the size that I needed. So we are doing it with this today. In the future, I will order a pork loin roast from my butcher so that I can have it available the next time I do a rotisserie pork roast, which will probably be this next month. Okay, once again, I'm going to come in here, try and get as much of this. Could you take one hand, just hold it, and there we go. Okay. I just want some good smoke flavor all throughout this roast. Well, I think she's full. So, now I think what I'm going to do with the rest of this is I'm just going to pour it over and rub it in. Pat it in. Not rub, because I do have a dry rub on it that's now becoming a wet rub. But I did my chicken this way, and it really turned out good. You just don't want to rub it, because then you're going to rub the seasonings off. So you just kind of want to pour it on and pat it. And that little bit of goopy stuff that you see is some garlic powder. I sprinkled some garlic powder into the butter before I put the liquid smoke flavoring in it. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so we're all learning together. Okay? Alright. That looks really good to me. I am going to wash my hands so they aren't quite so slippery, and I'll be right back to show you how I'm going to try and wrap it up with bacon so the outside doesn't become dry and hard. I'll be right back. Now what I want to do is I want to take this roast, because I don't want it to be all dry and hard on the outside. I want it to stay moist and juicy. Chickens come with a skin, so when you rotisserie them, the skin acts as a shield to protect the meat and keep it moist with the fat that's cooking off of the chicken while it's cooking. And while this roast does have a good layer of fat on it, there are some areas that are just meat, and I want to make sure that those stay nice and moist and juicy. Because I want a nice, juicy roast. Okay. I'm thinking I need one more piece of bacon. And like I said, I'm just learning, so I've broken some toothpicks in half, and I'm just going to bring this bacon, I'll start at the center, bring this bacon up and around. Just use these little toothpicks to hold it in place. I'm going to turn this one just a little bit. Bacon strips are not quite long enough to reach all the way around my roast, so I'm trying to make them end where there's a layer of fat. Yep. Never done this before, so if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying and I'm learning, and this will work. Okay. This last little piece on here on this side. Around. Like I said, this is a little bit tricky. I have not done this before. This is my first time. So, this little piece of bacon here. And I hope you all had a really nice Mother's Day. I know that I did. I spent the day with my daughters and grandchildren. We went out to the winery and enjoyed some wine and some sunshine. And then we went back to my other daughter's house and had a wonderful dinner. Excuse me while I reach across the camera. Cut a couple of these pieces of bacon. See if I can't cover up these other areas. I don't want my roast to be dry. Really don't want my roast to be dry. Okay, I'm just going to put that one right over that toothpick that's already there. Same with this. Okay, keep that in place. I think I'll do the same thing here. Put that over that toothpick. That over that toothpick piece. Maybe. There it goes. Okay. And then stretch this across to this little toothpick piece. Okay. Now I think I just need one more little strip in the center. And, you know, this may all be, like, not necessary. I really don't know. This is my first roast. My first pork roast done on the rotisserie. I've barbecued lots of pork roasts over the years. Can you grab me a couple toothpicks? Please and thank you. Okay. I've barbecued a lot of pork roasts over the years outdoors on a traditional grill. However, we are not allowed to barbecue here. So all these rotisserie attempts is one of the reasons I bought this particular brand of air fryer oven, because it does have the rotisserie feature, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a way to make my food taste like it's barbecued. Okay. Uh-oh. This one's going to need to be fastened down with its own toothpick. Okay. Look at that. I think I'm going to take this last little piece right here. And do something like this. Make sure I get that last little part covered. Okay. Okay. We are on the spit. We are bacon wrapped. Throw a couple more little toothpicks on here to keep this bacon in place, so our roast stays nice and moist. All right. Now, I am just going to wipe off the ends here to make sure it's free of any spices, any juices, anything that might get in the way of the rotisserie turning properly. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands and I will be right back. To go into the power air fryer. Oven. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, you want the square end to the left, and I'm going to go ahead and come around here and insert this into the slots, making sure that that square end gets in, turning it until it drops in to the rotisserie. There we go. And you can feel it when it drops in. Okay. We're not rubbing on the bottom, but we are definitely heavy on one side. I'm going to go ahead now and turn it on. Maybe roast. Nope. Rotisserie. 400 degrees. That's right. Start the rotisserie. And the directions said 45 minutes at 400. Okay. We are off and running. Turn the light on. Come down, make sure it's turning. It is. Nothing appears to be dragging. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. Okay. I'll be back in about 15 minutes to check on it. Okay, the roast is out of the oven, and I've pulled off all the little pieces of bacon, and then I went ahead and popped it back in just to give it a little browning on the outside of the roast. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And 155 degrees is done for pork, and this is done. So like I said, I've gone ahead and oh, look at the juices rolling out of there where I just pulled the thermometer out. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this bad boy. And the bacon did exactly what I wanted. As you can see, it is very, very brown. So it did protect the outside of the roast and contributed to the wonderful flavors. The bacon itself is absolutely delicious. And I'm just letting this roast go ahead and rest for about 10 minutes before I cut into it. Got some potatoes going on over here, and we're going to be having some broccoli along with it. Okay, I'll be back when I plate it up. This is my rotisserie pork roast. And the juices coming out, that is not a red color. I can see on the camera it looks very red, but it is actually brown, and I think that is juices from the bacon and also from the color from the saison and also the injecting that I did. Okay. Rotisserie pork roast. Okay, I'm back. I put the roast back in just for a few more minutes. I wanted just to brown off the top just a little bit more. So we've got our roast. We've got the bacon that hasn't been eaten already that covered our roast. And let me tell you, this bacon tastes like candy. It is sweet, flavorful, and delicious. We've got some broccoli, and we've got some boiled, lightly fried potatoes. Okay, this is the meal. This is the roast. The juices are just dripping out of it. Just wonderfully beautiful brown color. Can't wait to sink my teeth into this. Okay, I'm gonna plate this up and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back and I have my dinner plated up. I have, everybody else had regular Irish potatoes that were gently boiled and fried. I'm having some sweet potatoes from my salmon hack, one pot Instapot meal. If you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to go over and check it out. Anyways, I had some leftover sweet potatoes, so I warmed them up tonight and put a little salt and pepper on them. And then this is my roast. I'm going to come in for a close-up. And right here next to my barbecue sauce, I always have to have that crusty end piece. You know, the one right at the end that is just so full of flavor. Okay, so that is my rotisserie pork and sweet potato dinner. I hope you enjoyed my video. Oh yeah, and my very favorite barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's hickory and brown sugar. Yum. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. I'd really like to hear from you. I'm just learning, and hopefully maybe I can help somebody else learn too along the way. Okay. Oh, I want to give this a little taste. Go in here. Okay. Give myself a small piece. I just want to get this little crusty piece right here. You just want to let me get it. Okay. Okay. There's that end piece. Beautiful color, moist, juicy, and delicious. So tender. Okay. Dip that in some barbecue sauce. Yum. Woohoo! I love my rotisserie function on my power air fryer oven. Oh, my mouth's watering. I gotta bite this. That is so good. And you get all the flavors of the rub when you get that nice browned off end cut. I can only imagine what an actual pork loin roast will turn out like in this oven. Got myself some leftover sweet potatoes, getting my beta carotenes, and I don't believe in wasting food, so here's the sweet potatoes. My mouth is in absolute heaven. Closest thing I can get to a barbecued pork roast with some leftover sweet potatoes from my Instapot meal. That is truly, truly delicious. Okay, everybody. I'm going to go down and enjoy my meal. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more cooking videos sweet and savory, and I am 60. Brightest Blessings.